Hi, I'm Amanda, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I'd like to show you how to make this lovely card here, predominantly with the Pansy Patch bundle. So this is the Pansy Patch stamp set and the coordinating dies, and there's a lot of pieces to this bundle. There's a lot of pieces to make up the pansies, and there's a lot of dies to make up lots of different images as well. So it's a really good value for money set, I think, because you can get so many different effects with it. I haven't even tried probably, I don't know, a tenth of the different ways that you can make up your pansies with this set yet. So today I'm going to make this card, and as well as using the Pansy Patch bundle, I'm also going to be making this background, and this is using the alcohol ink technique. So I'll show you how to do that as well. And again, there's several ways that you can do that and get different designs from it as well. And we're going to be using some alcohol Stampin' Up blends, which is what we'll need. And what we also use is this alcohol spray. So this is 99% isopropyl alcohol. It needs to be 95% alcohol or above. I mean, this is 99.9, so it's pretty high. This is just off of Amazon. It's about £7, so you can source that yourself, and it's got a nice spray bottle, spray end on it as well. So that's what we'll be using to do the background. Okay, so let me just show you some of the. Well, let me do this first. So what you'll need is, obviously, your Pansy Patch bundle. You'll need a piece of A4 white cardstock cut into half, and then so that'll give you your card base. And then you want to score it at half at 10.5 centimeters, and obviously then you fold it in half. Then you want a piece of vellum. So a piece of vellum, again, I've basically cut a piece of A4 into 4 pieces to give 4 pieces the same size. We're going to cut it down a bit later, but it's quite good to use a piece that's a bit bigger than what you're going to use, because sometimes the edges don't always go how you'd like them to, so it's quite good that you can just snip those off at the end, and then you've already got your white border just by making your background a little bit smaller than your base. And then we'll do some stamping and some die cutting, and then we're going to use these gorgeous loose flower flourishes, and they're really nice accents to the middle of the pansies, if you can see there. Okay, now I'm going to use a slightly different colourway on this because this is predominantly sort of like the oranges and pinks. I'm going to use pink, so I'm not using the new in colours, so I'm going to be using polished pink, fresh freesia and soft succulent. So those are the colours I'm going to use for my background today. Okay, so let's think about, so I've got my card base here, so as I said, this is half a piece of A4, and then I'm going to fold that in half, so that's going to be my base. Let me show you some of the examples of backgrounds. So that's what we'll do first. We'll do our backgrounds. So if I just move that out of the way a minute, and then you can see, these are loads of different pieces I've made with this alcohol ink technique. And they all make lots of different sort of colours and patterns, really unique each time. They're all different. That's a little bit like an animal print, I suppose. So lots of different colours, and you can play and experiment with your different patterns. That's really nice, sort of purple and green. And then this I did as an ombre effect, really. So I started with a darker colour and got lighter and lighter, and sort of did that. That's quite nice as well, especially in the blues. It looks like clouds on the blue, which is really nice background. So let me get rid of those pieces, but you can see how many different effects you can get just by changing the colours. And like I said, mostly no two pieces are going to be the same. So what you'll want to do this is a non-porous surface. So if you've got something like a glass desktop or a glass mat or something like that, that would be perfect, because whatever goes on top of it is going to absorb, so you don't want paper or something. So definitely protect your surface before you do this. Okay, so you've got a piece of vellum paper, and this is what I was saying just now. If I use so this is another one that I did in the same colour as this card, but I just didn't colour all of the background. I just did sort of some areas and left some blank in between, and it looks a little bit like petals. But the important thing is, if you don't really see it like that, but as soon as you put it on top of a white background, it really pulls out the colours. Okay, so even though there it sort of looks a bit muted, it really does make the colours pop when you put it on a white background. So it's quite a nice effect to do, just to put on a white base, because it just picks out those colours nicely. Okay, so I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to use these different colours. I've got my alcohol solution, and I've got a little ramekin here that I'm going to spray a little bit in. And then I've got a paintbrush here as well that you'll need, and I've just realised I need some tissue. Just a second. And there I was thinking I was organised. Okay, so I've just got a little bit of tissue here just to dab off there. So okay, so because this is alcohol, 99% alcohol, it does evaporate in the air. So make sure you keep the lid on and only sort of pour some out when you're going to start using it. Okay, so which design am I going to do? I think I might do it. I think I might do this one. I'll do the full effect so you can see. Okay, so you don't want to necessarily be too fussy on this, and literally you just want your alcohol pen, and it does need to be an alcohol marker for this because it needs to blend with the alcohol liquid that we're going to use in a minute. And you just want to basically lay down some colour, and you don't have to be too clever on this. And you can do circles, you can do squares, you can do splodges. You know, you don't have to make it pretty because it's all going to merge anyway. Doesn't have to be symmetrical. Right, so I want this to be in more muted colours because I'm going to do this in the more lilac colours. The fresh freesia is the colour I'm probably going to do the flower on this. And again, it doesn't look much at the moment. And be careful when you put your fingerprints on, or your fingers on the ink, it does lift it sometimes. Okay, I'm going to put some darker tones on now. So this is the darker of the fresh freesia. So the blends come in the combo packs of 2 tones of each colour. So like I said, these are the new ink colours, which I'm using here. Okay, and then again I want to use mostly the lighter shades I'm going to use. And you want to just sort of make it sit up against the other colours so that it fills all the vellum. And again, I think I want this more to be pinks and purples, so you can just keep adding colours, and you can come back to your original colours and fill in more, but you can see what you're filling in to see if you think it's too green or too pink. You can just keep going. Doesn't even matter if you overlap a little bit because the alcohol will make it overlap, which is exactly the job it should be doing. Alright, that's looking good. I'm going to add just a little bit of the darker green, just to add a bit of depth in some areas, because remember when we add the alcohol, it is going to wash it down a little bit. So I'm just going to add some bits here. And if you find it easier to see where you've added colour or not, you can actually do this on top of a white piece of paper if you want while you're doing this bit, because then it's easier to see where you've put some colour. And I don't think I've used any of the dark polished pink either, so I'm just going to add a bit of that in some of these gaps now. So again, I don't want this to be too dominated by the darker colours, so I'll probably infill again in a minute with some of the lighter colours. Okay, let me just turn it around, it's a bit easier to get to then. And don't forget your edges as well. Okay, right, I'm just going to use the darker purple. Just add a bit more colour in the gaps. Okay, so we're nearly done. Just laying down the colour. When you're doing this, obviously, like I said, these are alcohol pens, so when you're doing this, make sure you've got a nice, well ventilated room, especially on a warm day like today. I think we're nearly there. You don't have to be too overly fussy about getting every single bit covered, but there you go, that's not too bad. Okay, so if I just put that on top of that colour, then you can just see. Look how much brighter that is. So much brighter, isn't it? Okay, so on the side that you just so you need to spray a bit of your alcohol solution. That's how much I've used, look, already. That's how much I've been playing with this. So just spray a few squirts in. This is where you definitely need a well ventilated room. And just make sure, my brush isn't very clean, is it? There you go, that's better. That's a good thing about alcohol, it cleans it, doesn't it? Okay, so you can use different brushes. I've used like quite a big round, sort of almost like a teardrop brush before. And you get different effects with different things, so you can just play with this. You can try it on lots of different small bits and just see, and like I said, each time it comes out different anyway. So on this one, I'm just going to dab across in lines. And you can already see it just starting to pick up and lift the colour, and for it to bleed into the other colours. So you can just see it just starting to blend. And what I suggest you do is just go over it once with your paintbrush like this and let it dry, because you can always change it again. If you put too much on, it literally just all merges into one big puddle, and you don't really get any definition of the colours. So I would suggest you just do one sweep and then give it another go, or see if there's any patches that you think need a little bit of extra help, and you can just add again a little bit more liquid, and then you can do that. Like I said, don't forget your edges. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, that's pretty much, I don't know if you can see a bit here, you can just see where it's still, and in fact I can see it drying as we talk. So you can see where it's dry or not. So once it's dry, then you're safe to have another go at it if you want to. Again, the best thing I would say is that's obviously the side you've done, so that's the side you're going to actually see. I would always hold it up against that and see what you think. So actually I quite like that actually. You can see that that's probably maybe a bit more blocky than that, but actually I quite like the look of that. I might maybe go over it a little bit just to make this not quite so blocky as the rest of it, just so it makes it a bit more. And again, you can just see the liquid drying off it. Just see it drying off there. Okay, that to me looks a lot better now. And you are going to get different patches and different things, and that's all part of the joy of this, really. It's quite natural. There is a set of designer series paper. I've forgotten which one it is now. I think is it something like the well inked or the inked, and it looks like this sort of design, this sort of pattern, but it's quite nice that you can make your own in lots of different colours as well. So if you like this look, that DSP is definitely worth looking at. There's hardly any liquid left in there, but if you do have a bit of liquid left in, what you can use is you can get these little pipettes, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that back out of there and add it back in to my bottle. And then that's that for that. Oh dear, apart from I've just dropped it everywhere. And the good thing about doing it on the glass then is that you can just wipe it off and it's all done. Okay, so once you've got your background colour, the other thing you can do, and I think I might have done it with this one as well as not colouring all of the DSP, or sorry, all of the vellum in a colour, you might just want to do a couple of splodges even. What you can also do is just use a spray of this, and on the colour that you've inked, you can just, once you've laid down your colour, you can just spray it and it will just give these blotches. A bit like rainfall, so that's also another thing. Again, you just need to try different things. So I think this one was done with just spraying, and you can see you get more like the little patination, the little dots on it, so that's quite nice. That looks like quite a nice moody sky, doesn't it? Either in evening or stormy, so that's quite nice. Okay, so I'm just going to I don't know if you can see it, so it has sort of edged a little bit, so I'm just going to take the edges off with my trimmer, and you probably only want to take probably a quarter of an inch off. I'm just going to take a little bit off of each of the sides for now. Ooh, that literally was only a side, wasn't it? So we want to make it a bit smaller than the actual card. And again, this vellum goes through the trimmer really well. Now I still need a bit more off. How are we doing now? That's better. And then just take a little bit off the top and the bottom. Just means that you haven't got any edges with ink that's pooled on the side. This looks quite pretty. Actually, that'd be quite nice for a wedding card. Just to make it a little bit more for the... Okay. Apologies, I haven't measured this, but you can see that it's pretty much... There you go. You just want a little edge there. Okay. So that's good for that. So again, you can see how different that is just by using different colours. A lot more paler on this one. Okay. So now, and you can just use your normal glue to adhere this. I'm going to use, so you want to have the side that you've inked on the downside, and again, like I said, when it's on the white, it really shows up. So you want to glue the side that you have inked, and the glue tape doesn't show through either. So you can just go ahead and do your edges. And I think I'm going to have the sort of the darkery colours at the bottom. And then you just want to offer it up and centre it. And there you go. It's really pretty, isn't it? Nice pale colours. Okay, so now we want to do some detail. So I'm going to use the Pansy Patch dies and stamps. Again, there are going to be so many ways that you can use these stamps. So you can see that you've got this edge, you've got this edge, you've got the centre sections, another centre section here, then you've got the smaller pansies here. And on the dies, there are so many sections of the dies you can use, and I'll use that to some extent on another project I'm going to do with this set to come after this one. But I'm going to mostly stamp these. So what you need, this is sort of basically multiple layer stamping. So that's, some people say about two-step stamping. So you'd first stamp this image, and then you'd stamp this image on top to get the extra detail. Just be careful of what colours you line up together. So this, for example, is just one. The background is polished pink, but I stamped it off first, so you get a paler colour. And then I've used polished pink again for the detail, but not stamped off, so it's the full colour, and it just gives you that detail. On here, I used the pale papaya and then polished pink, but look how orangey, because that's gone on top of the pale papaya. Papaya. You can see how it's made the pink quite a lot more muted. It looks like fruit salad, doesn't it? So on this one, I think I'm just going to use one colour or two different colours, but I'm going to use the same colour on each flower, just so that it makes it cleaner. I just like the brighter, crisper colours. So what you'll need is some extra card. So I'm going to stamp. So I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do it in the polished pink, because I think that's going to be the nicer colour. I'm going to do polished pink, and then I'm going to do the fresh freesia. Those two colours, which I think are going to go really nicely with this colour. Okay, so I've got the two stamps. So that's the background stamp, and that's the top level detail stamp. So I'm going to do the main one, I think, in the pink, because I think that'll stand out a bit more. So what you can always do, of course, is try out the different combinations. So this is where I normally, or should have, my background, so that I've got something to stamp off onto. Okay, let's start again. Okay, so now we've got my polished pink, so that's my background. Yeah, so if you've got some spare paper, then just, when you stamp it off, make sure you've stamped the whole image, otherwise you'll find that some bits will be darker again. Okay, so that's the pale colour. And then I've already stamped it off, and then this one, I'm going to keep it this colour, and it's going to add the detail now. I'm going to have to get above it a little bit just to make sure okay, so I think that's about right. Okay, so that just adds the detail, which I think is going to go quite nice on that. So there's those two. And actually there's an inside piece as well. Now, did I get myself organised enough? I did not get myself organised enough. So, Yes, it is on that one. So here you've got the insert section here. Okay, so that's the insert section, and again I want to do that on the pale colour, so I'm going to stamp it off and then put that in the middle so it adds the lighter colour again. Let me just wipe off that. Okay, because I'm going to need that block again in a minute. Okay, actually I might as well keep that, because I'm going to do a pink and a fresh freesia of the smaller ones as well. So I just need to get my stamp blocks, as I've only got a certain amount. So let's get rid of that one. Okay, so now we've got the background, which is pretty much the solid one, and then you've got the detail stamp as well. So if you can see that one there. Okay, so same process. I'm going to stamp it off. Okay, and you don't need to worry about if it's too splodgy, because by the time you put the top detail on, that will just look like a natural detail. Okay, and I'm having to wash these in between because I want to use the other colour. Now I'm using the same stamps. So I want my background detail, stamp it off, and then my detailed one, you do not want to stamp that one off. Okay, I could be lined up a little bit better if I was above it, but I don't want to block out your view on that. Okay, now there is in this set a tiny little dot here, and you can use that to fill in the centre of your pansies if you want to. Or what I've used is the loose flowers as the detail, which is quite nice, so you don't need to ink it if you don't want to. It's up to you. If you want a different colour, if you want yellow or orange or something, then of course you can do that. Not a problem. So let me move the pens out of the way. That's my base. And what we need now is the cut and emboss machine. And we want to cut out those pansies. So got our dies here. So there is a die for the small pansy and there's a die for the large pansy. So it's up to you if you're confident to do two shapes at the same time, or if you'd only rather do one. That's up to you. I'll do one at a time. Try and lay it flat on top, it stops it from moving around. Okay, then we have our first pansy. I don't know why I always go from right to left, it's a bit strange, isn't it? Right, so now we've got our little pansies. Just need to line up the die again. Again, if you lay it on from the top, it's less likely to move around. Second pansy. Last but not least, our final pansy. It's always quite disconcerting when you hear the plates crackle along, doesn't it? But they can take it. Okay, so let's keep hold of that for the minute. So I think that's all we should need our machine for. And we've got our dies. I'll just put my dies back, otherwise I'll lose them. Okay, so we've got our big pansy, got 2 small pansies here, and then I've got a strip of white card which is 3 inches by 1 inch, and that's going to go in from the left side, and then we're going to put those 2 on the side there. So we want our sentiment, and again there's some lovely sentiments on this set, really nice sentiments, so thank you, happy birthday, which are going to be used all the time. A little hello from me to you. I don't think that will quite fit how I want to put the thing, so I'm going to do happy birthday, and this is such, as you can see on here, it is such nice fine writing, it's such a nice script as well, so that's what we're going to use. And actually I've already got it ready here, so just need to make sure that it's lined up and straight. Okay, and I think I'm going to do that in, I think I'm going to keep it in the pink because I think it needs the brighter colours just to lift it a little bit. So you want to leave a bit of gap here, you'll probably want it about centre. Okay, so you just want to ink up, and then you want to put it probably about centre. Really nice fine line writing, really nice one, that one. Okay, so now we're pretty much ready to assemble. So, oh, what have I missed? I've missed the leaves. So again, you've got the stamps that you can use to stamp the leaves, which I've got here. So actually you need your card again that you used before. Let's just put these to the side a minute. Need the so for each of so there's 2 different leaves. There's almost like a cheese plant leaf, and then there's a longer leaf, and each has 2 parts again. So you've got a background stamp and a detail stamp. So again, I think I'm going to use the paler soft succulent colour again, just because it's a paler colour on the. So let's just. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stamp off on the background to make it paler, and then I'm going to clean it off. And then I'm going to use the detail stamp in the same colour, but I'm not going to stamp it up, and it'll stamp it off, and it's going to just give that detail. It's just lining it up, which is the hard thing. Okay, so you can just see that that lines it up, and it just makes it quite a nice paler colour. You can see how different that is to that, it just adds it a little bit. Nice muted colours. Okay, so we've got that one. So now we're going to do the same for the other style of leaf. So this is a longer leaf. Again, I'm going to stamp off. Sorry, I've got my stamp and scrub off screen there. And then again, we've got a detail ink. Which way does that go? It goes that way. So we don't stamp that one off. And then we will need the die cut machine again. So to use the dies. Oh, I've got too many bits of paper. And this is quite a simple project, so you can see how many of these there are. So there are, this one and this one are the two outlines, but you can see there's so many different, these are really nice. These give a really nice detail and embossed image as well when you cut them. So it doesn't only just cut the outline, it actually does emboss the card as well. Right, does that look about right? That looks about right. Again, we'll do one at a time. So there we've got one. And then we'll do the second. Don't quite know why I put it at that angle, I'm sure. Okay, then we've got our second one. Right, now we can put the machine away. I promise. Okay, so now we should have all of our pieces that we need. So we're going to have our happy birthday there. I'm going to have those two there. And I'm going to have that one. And that one there. And in fact, it would be quite nice to add another one maybe there just to, but anyway, that's fine. You can add as much as you like to these, but you get the idea. I think maybe a little bit of green would look nice there. I wonder if maybe if I can do that one there. No, it does need two, doesn't it really? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So you can add your glue to your sentiment. Okay, you want to do it sort of towards the bottom, line it up nice and straight. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down the leaves first. So if we just think about roughly where we want it, so I think maybe about there. Oh, can't get hold of it. And again, about there. And then you can add on big flower. And then I'm going to add the purple one there. And then add the pink one there. There you go. Right, so now for the fun bit, to add on our final bit of detail. And this is the lovely loose flower flourishes. So you get these in 3 of the ink colours. You get them in the pale papaya, even, polished pink, and oh, what's it called? Can't remember. Fresh freesia. And you get them in 2 sizes as well, which are really nice. So I think I'm going to go for I'll take my pick a tool, which just adds a bit of a gluey end. And I'm going to use a bit of liquid glue for this. So I'm going to put one big flower here, and I think it needs to be, do we think the pink? Yes, I think the pink. Okay, just want that one there. And then I'm going to add those two, just to add a bit of detail. And then I'm going to add a large one up here. And I think I might go on the papaya on that one as well, just to keep the theme. Just nice to add that extra colour as a bit of detail, otherwise it's a bit pink and purple, isn't it? Just adds a bit of detail. So there we have it. That is our card using our own background. You can see how it's just really pretty, isn't it? It doesn't matter that it's not even all over, that's part of the fun of it. But look how different they are, just by using slightly different colours and different tones really. So it depends if you like really nice bright bold colours or if you like the more subtle colours. So anyway, you can play around with the colours. So that's it. As always, you can find all the products at Stampin' Up website, which is amandascraftedcards.stampinup.net. I'm on Facebook as Amanda's Crafted Cards, and I'm on Pinterest. So yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed that. And again, it's really featuring the Pansy Patch bundle, which is just going to be a firm favourite. And I keep saying this, well, I don't keep saying it, I think I've said this with the poppies that were out last year. I'm not really a flower person, but I've really taken to this, so hopefully you will too. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you very soon. Take care. Bye.